First, let's pay homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming, Master Sakya Zhengkong Teshung Rinpoche, the 16th Dharma King Karmapa, and Master Dubden Dorje. Homage to the three jewels of the altar, and homage to the main deity of Homa, the Yama Dharma King. Sumo, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, temple directors, all disciples present here and over the webcast. And our guest of honors today, Tribuda's accountant to the Tribuda Foundation, Dharma Sister Teresa and her husband, Dr. Lin. And from the CTI TV, the producer of the Illuminating Your Heart TV program, Dharma Sister Rebecca Su, Dr. Zhuang, and Dharma Brother Fermi Wang, the PR Director of Taiwan Lizang Temple, and from Taten Culture, the President, Miss Wu Su-mei, and Mr. Lin. It seems that the Homa that we performed today of Yama King is the first time ever. But don't be too nervous, because the Yama Dharma King is the Yenlo King as known to the Taiwanese. In Tibet, the Yama King in Tibet actually is the same as the Yama King in China, but their form are different. In Tibet, the Yama King, his right hand, this hand is holding, it's a skull, a banner. That's how you pronounce it. I don't know how to differentiate between bed, boat, and this banner. To get on bed, or is it get on the boat? Or the banner, or the staff with the skull. And this other hand, the left hand, is holding a lasso, a rope, to tie on people. So this is the Tibetan version of the Yama King. And he is sitting on an ox. Some people say white ox, some people say black ox. In any case, it's an ox, whether it's white, black, or yellow. They're ox. So he's standing on the ox or sitting on the ox. And then next to him, there are 2 female attendants. That's the Tibetan version. And in the Middle Kingdom, the China, it's rather different because of the king. So he's wearing the emperor crown with the black face and rather look like the Bao Gong. And he is the king or the head of hells. So today, those who registered for this Homa is very fortunate because there are 8 hot hells or 8 cold hells. They're either very hot or very cold. So by making offering to the Yama King, when the Yama King is seeing you coming, he would treat you a little bit better. That in the cold hell, he would give you heater, and in the hot hell, he would give you air conditioner. So it's not bad to make offering to the Yama King. So when you see him, then he would think, oh, we have good affinity. And maybe he would release you back to the living. And the sins, if you don't have bad sins and not too much merits either, then maybe you would be let out through the back roads, back to the living world. So there are many benefits to the Yama King, and he also has great Dhamma power. In the West, we can call him, and he's wearing the black mask, wearing the black cloak, and then he's holding a curved knife, an axe. So that is the god of death in the West. Originally, the Yama King wasn't in charge of the hell. He was a very devout spiritual cultivator, and he was very bright and light in the heavenly realm. And because he has great compassion, he's willing to reside in the dark. And then he became the king of the spirit world, the underworld. So today, by performing this Homa, this is a very special, because he was the heavenly king of the radiant world. So he could guide the Bardo spirits to the Pure Land. And I did say already that there is a Pure Land in hells, the Pure Land belonging to Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva. And nobody made a vow to go to that Chui Pure Land. So if you befriend Yama King, maybe you would be dispatched to this Pure Land in the hells, and then you can follow Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva, can continue to cultivate there. It's very rare for people to mention that Pure Land. Actually, there is a Pure Land in each of the 6 rebirth realms, the heavenly realms, the 4 sages realms. There are Pure Lands in each of these realms. So by doing this practice, you can go to the Pure Land, and you can go to the light heaven. There are great benefits to it, to this practice. And he also helps all sentient beings. He can bestow blessings. He can do purification because in Tibet, the Yama Dharma king was very fierce. So wherever he went, people would die. Many people died. Those with heavy karma would die. Many of them. And Manjushri Bodhisattva, he was a very wise deity, and he saw that the sentient beings suffer. So Manjushri Bodhisattva transformed and entered into the heart of the Yama king, and then became to look like exactly like the Yama king, and that became Yamantaka. And by the look of Yamantaka, he salvaged sentient beings. So Yamantaka looked exactly the same as the Yama king with slight differences. So Manjushri Bodhisattva entered into the samadhi of Yama king and generate Yamantaka. So that's because of the compassion of Manjushri Bodhisattva. So Manjushri not only has wisdom, he also has compassion. And Kuan Yin Bodhisattva is the same. He does not only embody compassion, he also embodies wisdom. So the three key deities of Tantrayana, Manjushri is the deity of wisdom, and then Kuan Yin, Avalokitesvara, is the deity of compassion, and then Vajrasattva is the deity of Dharma power. So those are the three main deities. And in our spiritual cultivation, we should also reach these three. First, you have to embody wisdom. Second, you have to embody compassion. And third, you want to generate your own Dharma power. So, Manjushri, Kuan Yin, and Vajrapani are the three main deities. So the mantra of Yama King, and they asked me, it's easy. That's his mantra. And his mudra, make a circle, middle fingers and the ring fingers touching, and the pinkies folded inside. So it looks like this. It's very similar to the Ushina Vijaya. And the difference is you bend the pinkies inward. That's the only difference. Otherwise, it's exactly the same as Ushina Vijaya. With the mantra, a mudra, and his form, holding a three-pronged kachanka, with the skull, and the other hand is holding a lasso, and he looks like Yamantaka. This is the look of Yama King, and so you can visualize him. And these three comprise the mantra chanting practice of Tantrayana. And we like to have True Buddha Foundation to compile this. So when you do the practice of Yamantaka, you also need to recite this mantra. And the mantra is long.
Om Yamataka, Om Yamataka Hong Hei.
The mantra for Yamantaka.
Yamataka Hong Hei.
This is the mantra of Yamantaka. And then, following,
Om Yamataka Hong Hei, Om Chri Haralupa Hong Han Soha.
And the latter part of the mantra connected with the beginning part of the mantra is a kind of mantra that combines Yamantaka and the Yama King. And this exists in the Yamantaka Dhamma practice. And the greatest Dhamma practice in Gelugpa, the yellow sack, is Yamantaka. And this mantra that's the combined mantra for Yamantaka and the Yama King. And now we will continue to talk about Hevajra. In my own experience, when the heart mind chi enters and stays in the central channel, the generation of Hevajra can have 11 kinds of self-nature. Before we talk about the indications of the chi entering the central channel, one of them is the great self-nature of Hevajra, one of the 8 self-masteries. And the great self-nature is classified into 11 kinds. And this is something that other people do not know. And they are the form Hevajra, sound Hevajra, smell Hevajra, taste Hevajra, touch Hevajra, and mind object Hevajra, and Samaya Hevajra, wisdom Hevajra, Yidam Hevajra, power and name Hevajra, righteous wisdom Hevajra. Altogether, 12 self-nature. So that's my brief introduction. After you do the practice of Hevajra, the 8 self-masteries, the 8 self-natures would be generated. So when you practice the treasure-based Chi Yoga, and the Chi gradually enters into your central channel, and until the central channel is filled with the wisdom Chi, your central channel would be open and flowing. And then you would generate the 8 self-masteries. This is something that you yourself can feel. Other people will not know. But from the external appearance, you can also tell. There's this joke. There's a couple who's getting a divorce. You know, in America or anywhere, when they're getting a divorce, they would fight for the custody of the child. So they would fight for this. And then the wife was very adamant and said, the child was born out of my abdomen, my tummy, so the child should belong to me. It makes sense. So, because then the child should follow the wife. And the husband said, what a joke. So the money that was spit out by the ATM, does it belong to the ATM? But it belongs to whoever that pushed in the card, right? The debit card, the ATM card. So it would belong to the person who owns the ATM card. So he also makes sense. So who would the child belong to? It would only be decided by the judge, right? Anyone is a lawyer here? No one? So whatever the judge decides, because both of them make sense. One said that the child came out from my womb, of course. It's mine. And the other one said, when you push in an ATM card into the ATM machine, the money belongs to the one who owns the ATM card, not to the machine. So each has its own reasoning. So at the end, the judge decides. So the 8 self-masteries is something that you attain from your own spiritual cultivation. It's very difficult to be judged by others. And then this 11 self-nature, one is the form Hevajra. So this has form. After you do the Hevajra practice, you would become unique. You would be different from others. You would have 3 things. One is compassion, and the other is Dharma power, and another is wisdom. So this would be the form of your body. When you're angry, it's like you are showing the Dharma power, like Vajrapani. When you are compassionate, you would be like a bodhisattva. And your wisdom would be infinite. And people would listen to what you say. You would always have an eternal wisdom. Because after you attain the self-nature, you attain the Buddha nature, after you gain enlightenment, your wisdom is eternal, infinite, and it's unobstructed, and it would show naturally. So this is the form. You want to be fierce, like sometimes Grandmaster would show the fierce look, like Akalanata. The eyes is crossed, and the lower teeth are biting on the upper lip, and this is actually the wrathful mudra. This is how it looks. So you can show the wrathful appearance and the compassion appearance. You look inward, and then you're compassionate towards all beings. And if you subjugate the 4 maras, then you use the Dharma power. You show the wrathful look. But in order to show the wrathful look, you have to practice the Heruka, like the Yamantaka, Akalanata look, Yamantaka look. They all have very wrathful look. Only that way you would be able to subdue the four madas. And Bodhisattva is compassionate toward all the beings. If you want to subdue the wicked, they would look down on you. But instead you have to show that wrathful look. So there's like the vicious look. So you have to combine these three. In your spiritual cultivation, you have to have compassion, wisdom, and also Dharma power. So this is the form Hevajra. And the sound Hevajra, the sound is very good, very special. The sound is very kind and fine and virtuous. But when you become vicious, that would be different. There are two kinds of sounds. If you're compassionate, this is how we would say. That's compassionate. When you're wrathful, that's the sound. That's the wrathful. Raja is big. Raja is how the Japanese Tantrayana say, and Tibetan Tantrayana is pei. That's for wrathfulness. So you can utilize all kinds of sounds to do whatever by mantra chanting, by chanting mantra. And the smell Hevajra. When you have fruition in your Hevajra practice, your body would be fragrant. And people would like to be close to you. So the fragrant Hevajra. So once you have attainment, because your central channel is filled with the wisdom energy, until it reaches the finest channels, and the fragrance that's generated from the skin pores is fragrant. Some people would generate foul smell, like the smell of that athlete feet. When I gave spiritual cultivation in the past, someone had athlete's feet because there's carpet in the consultation room. They have to take off their shoes. They don't take off their socks, but as soon as they walked in, oh my God, and I would hold my breath, and they immediately answered and just come on. Oh, it was really bad. And the whole room would have the smell. So that's why I always carry a perfume in the room. And some people had really bad body odor. Some have wonderful smell. Then I would talk a bit longer. And people with bad odor, I would immediately answer and let them go. Not only men, but women too. Women who have attached negative spirits, they would smell very different. They have bad mouth odor. It's very foul smelling, and their body is also very foul. things generated from the pores also. So in practicing Hevajra, you would be as fragrant like Hevajra. And the wisdom chi from the central channel would reach all the channels, and then through the skin pores would be emitted as fragrance. And then taste Hevajra. Here's a joke. There is a director and the manager are riding together, and then the directors farted, and the manager said, you fart. And then the director said, no, I didn't. And then the director fired the manager, and the manager asked the director, why did you fire me? So you can't even handle small thing like a fart. Then what good are you? Because farting is just a natural thing. So you could have said that, well, you know, whatever farts that you do belong to me, then you would be promoted. It's just farting, and you can't even handle that. Then, of course, the director was displeased. So, taste Hevajra. Not only that you smell fragrance, your taste, the taste like by the tongue, whatever you eat would taste good. It's very strange, very interesting. For myself, anything tastes good to me. Tastes very good. You know, B17, the apricot kernels contain the most B17, and in China there's the northern almonds and the southern almonds, and the southern almonds are very bitter. Also the bitter gourd are very bitter. Other people would taste them as bitter, but for me they are tasty. So my stomach and my taste sense is different. Things that you don't, there's no salt, even plain water is very tasty. Whatever I eat without salt at all, still very tasty. Anything is very tasty. So this is taste Hevajra. The appearance of taste Hevajra. Whatever you eat tastes good. Some people don't like to eat this, cannot eat that, or this doesn't taste good. They have some problem eating. They would smell first before they eat it. You shouldn't do that. Just eat it. Maybe you would ask me, do you eat foul food? Yes, I do. Like the stinky tofu. But I have never eaten any poo. Nope, never. Have you drunk urine? Actually, our sweat is like urine. It's the same as urine. Right, doctors? So the sweat that we sweat from our skin, when I have my urine tested about every 6 months in America, some people every year or every half a year, I would have my blood and urine tested. And there's a container in the hospital with the label of your name and your date of birth. And then you place the urine inside the bottle. And then I would look at it and smell it, and it smelled fragrant. Even the pee, the urine. The Japanese invented the healing method of drinking your own urine. Cut off the beginning and the ending urine and just take the urine in the middle of your urination. And that urine, if you drink that, it can cure sicknesses. So I did have the thought of taking a sip of it, but I never did. But the smell is still pretty good. So after I practiced the Hevajra, so the pee and the poo of spiritual cultivator are still fragrant. That's how interesting it is. For the non-cultivator, of course, they are very foul. But in my own bathroom, the toilet, it's fragrant. I like to smell the smell of my own toilet, bathroom. So that's the appearance of taste Hevajra. When your central channel is open, all your excretions are fragrant. They have good smell, including your poo. I've told this joke before. There was a police dog that saw a dog crossing the street, and the police dog told this regular dog, "I'm a police dog. What are you?" And the common dog said, "You're so dumb. Can't you tell that I'm undercover?" People sometimes things that we excrete it's for common people, what they excrete is just a regular poo, but for spiritual cultivators, what they excrete is actually a precious poo. So after you have attainment in your Hevajra practice, you would be different. And touch Hevajra, so what touch Hevajra is whatever you have touched, they would become amazing. They would have Dharma power, like the Dharma, the Vajra bell, Vajra scepter that you have touched, the pan, the drum, the hand drum, the cup that you have empower. These items would generate power. A common object, after you touch it, they would have Dharma power. So this is touch Hevajra. So if Hevajra does not, if Grandmaster does not have attainment in his spiritual cultivation, it would be meaningless for Grandmaster to touch your heads. It would be completely meaningless. But prior to my giving blessings on the heads, first I would visualize my yidam. Until he merged with you. He emerged and then merged with you. Only then I would give the blessings on the heads. Only then that would have Dharma power. It would have power in the blessings. Otherwise, like anyone here, and you would go out and say, okay, let me touch your heads. That would be just a common touching. It has no power. So this is called the touch Hevajra. So when giving the blessings on the heads, by touching your head, there's the power of blessing, and that would be called the touch Hevajra. So now you understand, right? A husband and a wife were fighting, and they threw a pillow downstairs. And it turned out a beggar was passing by, and he was very pleased because he had the pillow now. And then there was a blanket flying down from above, and the beggar was really happy. Oh, this is so great. And then he cried out, hey man, up there, why don't you throw the woman down? You can throw down the pillow and the blanket. That's touch Hevajra. And if you throw down the wife, then the beggar would be very pleased. He would gain a wife. And next is the mind object Hevajra. When your central channel is open and the chi is flowing inside it, naturally would generate a kind of dharma that's very blissful, and you would have a small transcendental power, and that's called dharma joy. So when the central channel is open and flowing, then you would know about transcendental transformation. So when your central channel is open, the yidam, when it comes and sitting on top of your head, your chi can enter directly into the yidam. That's Tantrayana, tantric practice. So you enter. So the yidam descends and sit on top of your head, and then becomes as small as a grain of rice, like a drop of light, and then enter through your central channel until the heart chakra. And then it becomes as big as you, and you merge with it. And because your central channel is open and pure, you can enter into the deity, and the deity can enter into you. So enter me is the main deity entering into my central channel. And I enter is my heart or mind chi enters into the central channel of the deity. It's the same concept. So at this time, the Dharma joy would be generated. The joy of Dharma. And once you attain Dharma joy, then you cut off all of your miseries and afflictions. Without the Dharma joy, you would be bonded by these afflictions that you would be bonded, held in bondage, that you cannot sleep, cannot eat, and you're afflicted in misery every day. And once you have attained fruition in Hevajra practice, whenever qi is rubbing against the central channel, you would have bliss. That's the realm of the great bliss. And once you have this great bliss, all afflictions would be gone. All the miseries are gone. You would become very happy and joyful, very light. You reach the Western paradise. You're in heavens. Oh my God. I have become God. This is the phenomena that can happen. This is called the Dharma joy Hevajra. So the ultimate bliss in the world, in the human world, that's the satisfaction of the human desire. Even that can alleviate the affliction, even for mundane people. And they would feel for a moment that all the miseries are gone. I've gone to heaven. I've become like a god, flying in the clouds. You would have such a feeling. And that's only the small bliss of the human world. Little do you know that when the qi is going up and down the central channel, the rubbing that generates the bliss, that's called the great bliss. So the heavenly realms, they are the realm of desire, that's bliss, the realm of form, which is light, and then the realm of no form, which is emptiness or nirvana. So the realm of form, no, the realm of desire, the realm of form, the realm of no form. So that's bliss, light, and emptiness. So these two as their symbols. So the realm of desire is bliss, and the realm of form is light, and the realm of no form is emptiness. And then the Zen realm. And because the central channel is open and the inner fire is generated, then the inner fire can generate light, and then you would reach the realm of form. And when the light drops, melts and descends, that would generate the four bliss and four emptiness, and you reach the fourth heavenly realm. And all together. So first you have to open your central channel, and then the Dharma joy Hevajra would appear. So this is the other way around. The joke's not so funny though. After graduation last year, an engineer got a big project to build a 30-meter chimney, and for 2 months, and a few $100,000, and he has to get the budget, and he finished the project the end of last year. And then someone did some examination of that, and he didn't pass the project. It didn't get the money. Why? Because actually they wanted to dig a 30-meter well. They wanted a well because the blueprint was upside down, so instead he built a 30-meter chimney. So this is quite impossible in reality, but in our realm, of course, grandmaster was a survey engineer, I was sent to Kinmen to build a tunnel in a mountain. So when you dig, that's no problem. But typically they dig from both sides, and then it has to connect in the middle. They both have to connect in the middle. And then in the survey, in the 3 points and the height, everything has to be measured accurately. The height, the width, and they have to connect just right. The elevation here and here, and you have to measure it accurately so that when you dig, you have to follow the blueprint. And then if you dig and at the end one is high and one is low, then you have to build stairs. Then you would be executed. So when you're digging a tunnel, the connection, if there's only missing a little bit, it's okay. Then you can connect them. But if there's a big difference, then you would be executed. So in the survey measurement, it has to be accurate. It's the same for engineering. You cannot see it upside down. When you draw the maps for elevations, and when this one piece of paper and the next piece of paper, when you connect them, it has to be exactly right. Then if they don't connect, then one or both are wrong. So each of the piece of map has to connect with the next. And this is something that we have to attain in our survey. And then one step further, there would be Samaya Hevajra, and that's called the bliss and emptiness as one, which is my book on Hevajra, is the emptiness within great bliss. That bliss and emptiness are one, they are the same. Bliss is emptiness and emptiness is bliss. Form is emptiness and emptiness is form. So bliss and emptiness are one. And this is called Samaya Hevajra. And my book on Hevajra is called The Great Bliss Within, the Emptiness Within Great Bliss. Primarily, it talks about this. For most ordinary people, it is rather difficult to explain. And for everyone, doesn't matter how long you enjoy the bliss, in the end, it becomes empty. The bliss between a man and a woman is also very short. It's short-lived. My schoolmaster in the school at Survey Engineering College is Mr. Yin. We call him Mr. Iha because he has a dialect. Hakka? Oh, maybe he was Hakka. So, in a moment, and in Chinese he has a dialect. So we call him Mr. Moment. So the bliss is only for a split of a second. So no matter how long your bliss is, how can you compare to the life of the universe, or even to the 24 hours a day? You wouldn't enjoy the bliss for 24 hours, right? It's only for a short moment. Whether it's great bliss or small bliss, it's only for a moment. So that's why bliss and emptiness are the same, and at the end they all would become empty. So in practicing Hevajra, you need to comprehend the empty nature and the bliss. So when you have bliss, then you need to transform it to become emptiness. And in emptiness, when then you need to transform it back to bliss, and then vice versa, and continually. Then you would enjoy the bliss longer. So that's the practice of Hevajra. When you perform the dual execution of bliss and emptiness, when you're almost totally empty, then you transform it into bliss again. And when you reach the ultimate in bliss, you need to transform it into emptiness. With the transforming back and forth between bliss and emptiness, then it would last longer. So the Samaya Hevajra is talking about this. Someone was had an accident and fell off from the 3rd floor, and the police came and said, "What happened?" And he said, "I don't know. I just arrived here." So that's a split of a second, and bliss too. So he just got there, and the policeman also just got there. There was a criminal that's to be executed, and the bullets are of low quality. And the first shooting, the bullet was trapped, and the second and the third shot, and then the criminal started to cry. You should just choke me to death, because you scared me to death already. So scare could be scaring someone to death, or even bliss could make someone blissful to death. In the cemetery in Seattle, there was a great Kung Fu master, Bruce Lee. He's not bad. He's enjoying bliss to death. And someone could also be scared to death. There was a criminal, and the prison warden said, "Okay, you can make your last wish before your execution. So whatever you wish for, I would make it happen." And then the prisoner said, "Oh, I want an armor, a bulletproof armor." So Samaya Hevajra, bliss and emptiness are one. And when you reach this realm, you would gain bliss and emptiness. Om Mani Padme Hum.